call the Public Works Committee to order at 6:32. I apologize for not being here last week. I was a little under the weather. So here we go. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $23,735.61 from account 6000-359000 wastewater enterprise fund retained earnings to account 6000-517115 wastewater enterprise fund Blue Care Elect to fund a change in insurance coverage. Peter.
Second.
Thank you.
I was just trying to get the right paper.
That's all right. Do you need a sec?
Huh?
Do you need a second?
No,
Oh.
I got it.
So this was for a former employee that moved. So because they moved, they were out of network, and it's going to cost more. Do you have any questions or anything? Does anybody else? If anybody else wants to chime in that's not on my committee, just let me know. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $17,220 from account 6000-359000 wastewater enterprise fund retained earnings to account 6000-521020 wastewater enterprise fund lights and power to replace internal funds used to enter a rate study contract.
Second.
Thank you. So it's basically self-explanatory. They wanted to get in on the list of getting the rate study done, so they took money from lights and power, and we're just putting it back. Any questions or anything?
Normal course of events.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to accept the $2,387,972.13 balance of the city's Bristol County ARPA allocation in the form of a grant pursuant to the terms and conditions and grant agreement for the Lindsay Street Water Main Project, engineering, construction, and road restoration services between the city and Bristol County ARPA program.
Second.
Thank you. So I don't know if you read the backup. So we're basically allocating the money to the Lindsay Street project so we don't lose the money. As you know, when we get grants like this, it has to go to a project that's shovel-ready, and this Lindsay Street project is shovel-ready and ready to go, and an important project, as we all know.
Good use of the money, Laura, before it goes somewhere else.
Right, and so what it is we need to, even if we say what we're using it for, that's not good enough. We have to actually commit it to a project, or they'll take the funds back. So that's what the purpose of this is. Does anybody have any questions?
Is there, for people who are watching perhaps, is there more that you can say about what the project entails at this point?
The Lindsay Street project, well, is
Right.
to replace a major water main. So it's 10,800 linear feet of water main, curb to curb pavement restoration, and it's already been approved under all the requirements and everything to use this funding for. So in the backup, it did say we may have to use city funds to repave the road when that time comes. I believe it's going to be 2025. So yeah, it's a big project.
Absolutely.
It's a big project, and it's an important project.
Sorely needed.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to authorize the reallocation of any unused funds from the wastewater equipment project to be put towards the Lindsay Street Water Main Replacement Project, which pursuant to the terms and conditions in the grant application for the Lindsay Street Water Main Replacement, Engineering, Construction, and Road Restoration Services.
Second.
Thank you. So this is just any unallocated funds that we can put towards this project instead of getting the money back. Same project, same ARPA funds and everything. Does anybody have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. From the docket of November 20, oh, no. And that's all we have for tonight. I'd like to call for an adjournment at 6:38.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:38. Thank you, Peter.
No problem.
Is anybody else having a meeting or no?
I don't think so.
When was this just so? I'd like to call this meeting of the Municipal Council to order at 7 p.m. Please join me for a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please remain standing. We will be doing a moment of silence for Jonathan Kirby, the first member of the chairperson of the Attleboro Youth Commission, who passed away suddenly on November 24th. Thank you. I would entertain a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are suspending the rules this evening so we can change the order of committee reports later on, so Councilor Conti can be here. As well, as a follow-up to the moment of silence, we have that young man's father, former Councilor Brian Kirby, with us. I would ask Vice President Kobus, Councilor Reynolds, and Councilor Blair to join me at the podium. Councilor?
Getting out of practice.
So we wanted Vice President and those that you served with to join us.
Thank you.
I might need some help.
Municipal Council Certificate of Appreciation for Jonathan Kirby. On behalf of the Attleboro Municipal Council and the residents of the City of Attleboro, please accept our heartfelt appreciation for years of service to the Attleboro Youth Commission. Whereas Jonathan is a native son of Attleboro who passed away suddenly on November 24th, 2023, and whereas Jonathan was the first chair of the Attleboro Youth Commission and role model to so many youth commissioners over his time on the Attleboro Youth Commission, and whereas Jonathan devoted many hours of community service over his 29 years and touched and impacted so many from Attleboro to DC to San Francisco, and therefore, be it resolved that the Attleboro Municipal Council extends its sincere thoughts and condolences to Jonathan Kirby's entire family. Signed and sealed this 5th day of December in the year 2023.
Thank you.
We also have, we reprinted from 2010, the resolution of appreciation for when Jonathan left the Youth Commission by Frank Cook and Walter Thurber.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. And to all the counselors, to the city, Jonathan was from Attleboro. And he liked to call Attleboro his home. Although he lived in Washington, he was living in DC, he loved to tour the country, he was able to see the whole country on his drive out to San Francisco. He called Attleboro home.
He was one of us.
Yeah.
He loved jumping in the river.
Yeah, we did.
He was
River
a
rat.
He was a river rat. But he helped the Soup for Heat and all the different organizations that he helped along the way. I thank the council. I got a nice note from the mayor. The previous mayor called and talked with me. But I thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my girls, my daughters. They're still in Maryland, and Ellie, who was the little one at the time, is in college. So they'll be back at the end of the week. Our wake is on Friday in North Attleboro, and the funeral will be on Saturday. took a while out in San Francisco, and we just getting that taken care of now. So, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Attleboro is such a part of mine. I'm now living in North Attleboro.
We won't hold it against you.
Yeah.
You got enough going on.
But I appreciate everyone who reached out, all our friends, people we've known from the city for years and years have reached out, and it's been so warming to the
You
girls and I.
deserve every bit of it.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to all your service.
It was always a pleasure.
I won't bring up the cats.
No cats. There you go. But thank you.
I can't. I just buried my brother.
Thank you all for your indulgence in that. The Kirbys have done so much for this community over the year. Brian, with his 12 years as a counselor, I know he's impacted him and his children. Have impacted many throughout the years, so thank you for your indulgence, Council. That being said, we have business to get to tonight, and first piece of business, I'd like to approve the minutes of November 7th and 21st, please.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Madam Clerk, would you please read the...
Excuse me, Mr. President, did we do November 7th and the 21st?
I did the 7th and the 21st.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So good at keeping me on track because I can veer off. Madam Clerk, would you please read the notice of the first public hearing, please?
First public hearing to discuss the following loan order. Ordered that $500,000 is appropriated for the labor, materials, and equipment necessary for the rehabilitation of the existing sewers, including but not limited to the following: the preparatory cleaning of existing sewers, CCTV inspection, installation of cured-in-place pipelining, CIPP, 30-inch sewers, and all miscellaneous work and cleanup as specified or required to complete the work off of Tiffany Street, collectively the project, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, that to meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow $500,000 under Section 8.5 of Chapter 44 of the General Laws or any other enabling authority, and that the mayor is authorized to take any other action necessary or convenient to carry out this project.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to speak in favor? Anyone to speak against? Anyone to speak neither for nor against? Seeing none, Councilor Dolan, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open?
I do not.
Thank you. I declare that public hearing closed. Madam Clerk, the reading of the second public hearing, please.
Certainly. Public hearing to amend 10-4.11 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, isolated stop signs to add northbound drivers, Norgate Road at Commonwealth Avenue.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to speak in favor? Anybody to speak against? Anyone to speak neither for nor against? Seeing none, Councilor Dolan, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open?
I do not.
Thank you. I declare this public hearing closed. And Madam Clerk, if you could go on to the reading of the final public hearing, please.
Public hearing to amend revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, Section 10-5.2A, prohibited on certain streets as follows. Delete Holman Street, southerly side from Pleasant Street to Brook Street. Add Holman Street, southerly side from Pleasant Street to Forest Street.
Do we have anyone to speak in favor? Anybody to speak against? Anybody to speak neither for nor against? Seeing none, Councilor Dolan, do you see any reason to keep this public hearing open?
I do not.
Consider that public hearing closed. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I entertain a motion to enter in Committee of the Whole.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We now in Committee of the Whole. If anyone has any piece of business they would like to bring in front of the council, I would entertain a motion to arise from Committee of the Whole.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are now arisen from Committee of the Whole. We'll now go into reading of the mayor's communication.
December 5th, 2023. Dear municipal councilors, I hereby request your honorable body to schedule a public hearing pursuant to Section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended to lay out Brigham Hill Road as a public way.
Zoning and land use, please.
I hereby request your honorable body to schedule a public hearing pursuant to Section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended to lay out Teaberry Lane as a public way.
Zoning and land use, please.
I hereby request your honorable body to schedule a public hearing pursuant to Section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended to lay out Pass Farm Road as a public way.
Zoning and land use, please.
I hereby request your honorable body to schedule a public hearing pursuant to Section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended to lay out Jennifer Lee Drive as a public way.
Zoning and land use, please.
I hereby request your honorable body to schedule a public hearing pursuant to Section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended to lay out Ingle Lane as a public way.
Zoning and land use, please.
I hereby request your honorable body to schedule a public hearing pursuant to Section 16-2.2 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro as amended to lay out Teaberry Lane as a public way.
Zoning and land use, please. And Councilor Holmes, would you like to call for public hearings for all of those? I was thinking initially January 16th, but with a new council, would you prefer January 16th or February 6th?
I think February, is that okay?
Yep, absolutely. So we'll call those February 6th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you want to vote on that?
A little birdie in my ear said that might be better to do that.
Yeah.
So, all those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. We'll have those on February 6th.
Thank you.
I respectfully submit a communication from Health Department Outreach Worker, Case Manager Tisha Silva, regarding the donation of gift cards totaling $950 from the Holiday Spirit Committee. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept these generous donations to the City of Attleboro, supporting documents provided.
City property and claims, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Veterans Agent Ben Quell regarding the donation of gift cards totaling $750 from the Holiday Spirit Committee. In accordance with Section 1-12 of the revised ordinances of the City of Attleboro, I hereby request your honorable body to accept these generous donations to the City of Attleboro, supporting documents provided.
City property and claims, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Director of Budget and Administration, Lord Mason, regarding the need for funds to pay the increased salaries for the Municipal Council, I did it again, starting on January 2nd, 2024. Therefore, I hereby request your honorable body transfer $11,000 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1111000-511000 City Council Salary and Wages Full-Time, supporting documents provided.
Finance committee, please.
I think that's too many ones.
I think you
It
did.
looks like one.
Yeah,
you read it
I'm going
right.
to check on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check on that.
It's okay.
For your information, Kathleen Park, who is currently a member of the Attleboro Housing Authority, will be resigning as of January 2024. Please join me in thanking Ms. Park for her service to the city.
Thank you, Ms. Park, and that's an FYI for all councilors.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Thomas Moran of 78 Lincoln Avenue to fill an expired term on the Attleboro Housing Authority, term to expire February 2029, supporting documents provided.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Tanya Oliveira, 623 Pleasant Street, to fill an unexpired term on the Cultural Council, term to expire February 2025, supporting documents provided.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee, please.
I respectfully submit for confirmation by your honorable body the appointment of Tanya Oliveira, 623 Pleasant Street, to fill an unexpired term on the Council on Aging, term to expire February 2026, supporting documents provided.
Personnel, Veterans, Human Services, please.
I respectfully submit a communication from Personnel Director Lynn Davin and Director of Budget and Administration Mason Lord regarding the memorandum of agreement between the City of Attleboro and the Attleboro Public Safety Dispatches Association. The city and the Dispatches Association were able to reach an agreement for an additional 2-year contract from July 1, 2023 to June 30, 2025. Year 1 of the contract includes a 2% cost of living adjustment, COLA, and Year 2 includes a 2.5% COLA. In addition, the Labor Day and Thanksgiving holidays were added to the list of holidays. Also included was an increase for the initial uniform allowance and providing for additional uniform items through the use of the quartermaster system. Lastly, the training dispatchers will be provided with 1 hour of overtime per shift for every 4 hours of training provided.
Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services, please.
I would like to bring to your attention that at a recent budget meeting with Attleboro School Administration members, we were informed that to date, costs related to special education transportation have been higher than anticipated. If this trend continues, the school department may need additional funds to pay for these increased costs in this fiscal year. We do not currently have an estimate of what may be needed for the remainder of the fiscal year, only that the school department is on pace to require more than what was originally budgeted for these purposes.
Thank you. Finance Committee, please.
Sincerely, Kathleen D. Simone, Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will now go on to reading of the clerk's communication.
Clerk's communication, Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. We have received a Class II license renewal application from Daniel Martinez, doing business as R&D Auto Sales, 115 Dickens Street, with 5 customer parking spaces and 8 display spaces.
License Committee, please.
We have received an automatic amusement license renewal application from the Portuguese American Club, 65 Prairie Ave, for 1 pool table and 1 jukebox.
License Committee, please.
We have received an automatic amusement license renewal application from CEC Entertainment LLC, doing business as Chuck E. Cheese, 287 Washington Street, for 64 video game machines.
License Committee, please.
We have received an automatic amusement license renewal application from South Attleboro Post 312 Incorporated, 437 Newport Ave, for 1 pool table and 1 jukebox machine.
License Committee, please.
We have received a Class II license renewal application from Mike Zayako, doing business as Mike's Automotive, 801 South Main Street, with 10 customer parking spaces and 15 display spaces.
License Committee, please.
We've received a Class II license renewal application from County Auto Sales and Service, Inc., 42 County Street, with 10 customer parking spaces and 28 display spaces.
License Committee, please.
We've received a certificate of vote that at the Planning Board meeting on Monday, December 4th, 2023, the Planning Board voted on the affirmative to recommend to the Municipal Council that the loan order in the amount of $500,000 for the wastewater department's project to rehabilitate existing sewers off of Tiffany Street, including but not limited to cleaning of existing sewers, CCTV inspection, installation of curd and place pipelining, CIPP 30 in sewers, and related miscellaneous and cleanup work is consistent with Section 6 Municipal Facilities, Goal 16, Policy 1, and Policy 3 of the city's comprehensive plan.
Copies to all councilors, please.
That concludes communications.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will now go into committee reports, starting as always with Councilor Waterman.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Reporting on the docket, December 5th, 2023. I would move to approve the following 5 Class II license renewal applications. Classic Auto Sales of 1100 Oak Hill Avenue with 5 customer spaces and 23 display spaces. M&J Auto Sales at 650 Washington Street with 10 customer spaces, 39 display spaces. New England Tire, 44 North Main Street with 17 customer and 1 display space. Trusted Auto, 64 Pleasant Street with 5 customer and 18 display spaces. East Coast Auto Sales, 24 Rice Street with 14 customer spaces and 40 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
I have been to all of these places. They're all in order. I didn't see any issues here.
Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this requires a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And also from the docket of November 21st, 2023, I move to approve the Class II license renewal for State Line Auto Brokers, Inc., 1115 Washington Street with 6 customer and 42 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Yes. Since we last met, I have had 2 more trips to State Line Auto, most recently on Saturday afternoon. The parking is as it should be now. They are not on city streets. They are not on city sidewalks. Every car is within their enclosure. They were allowed 42 display spaces, and I counted 40 vehicles. I spoke with, forgive me if I pronounce last name wrong, John Morrow, the owner, and we had a very agreeable conversation. He wants to abide by the rules, and he assures me that that will remain so, that he will not be on streets or parking on sidewalks anymore. So with that in hand, I'm willing to support this license renewal.
Councilor Blair, then Vice President Cobus.
I would hope, Mr. Waterman, that you expressed what this council and the future council would be willing to do as far as his license is concerned, if he doesn't live up to those words that he spoke to you.
He knows.
You know, it's, words are cheap, actions
I agree.
are costly.
And I assure you that I will continue to keep an eye on them as the new year rolls around.
No second chances, Ty. This is it. If I was on the council in your position, it would be very plain to him that any further violation would come back before this council. So, I leave that in your hands.
Vice President Cobus.
And this is the one that, just the quick Google search for State Line and just looking at the online reviews, in the last year, more than half of the reviews are just one-star reviews talking about the salesperson being belligerent. They're incredibly negative and unsatisfied. Admittedly, these are online reviews and people can say whatever they want, but it does not sound like people are very happy with State Line. Can you remind me what the history is with State Line or Councilor Dolan? Because I know there's a lot, if I could through.
Yeah, I think it's important.
I think it'd be valuable to hear some of the
Agreed.
history of what we've gone through with them.
Well, I did not have problems to this degree in a year ago, but definitely have been problems through this year, including the parking of their cars on the property that was formerly owned by Walgreens. He told me that he was paying for those, for that parking, and that he had an agreement with Walgreens right up to the time that they sold the property to the current owner. And he told me that that he could have parked some of his cars over there if he was willing to pay the price that the current owner wanted. That did not work out. And Councilor Reynolds wants to chip in, feel free.
Well, a point of order.
Yeah.
Right, I'm
This-
sorry.
Thank you. I'll recognize Councilor Dolan, then Councilor Reynolds. Your point of order? Councilor?
Yes, I'm not sure that we actually voted this out of committee. I don't recall having voted this out of committee.
I do recall.
Yeah, it was voted out of the committee 2 weeks ago. It was voted out of committee, it was then held 2 weeks ago. We discussed it last week. Councilor Holmes had a point of order that we were discussing it.
So, but it was never brought out for vote, so I believe...
It was never brought in front of the council for a vote. It was brought out of...
I thought out of committee, we voted only all of the other licenses and not...
We separated it
Okay.
out, and it was discussed and voted out.
I don't even remember now.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Maybe Virginia can.
Confirm it. Want me to ask V?
Why don't we understand for recess? I'm not sure, but
Second?
we are recessed for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Council back to order at 7:29. So in response to Councilor Tavares' point of order, as previously stated, that was voted out. Another one was held, so it was already voted out of committee. So this discussion is appropriate. But thank you. This is what it's about. It's about discussion. It's about appropriately challenging to ensure that we're appropriately conducting business as a city. So thank you. Councilor Dolan, then Councilor Reynolds.
Now I kind of forgot what I was going to say. So, as far as Councilor Kovas's, Vice President Kovas's comment, the history's long. I mean, we've been here the same amount of time, and we've had them before us several times, I believe. And, none of us like to say anything bad or do anything that could possibly hurt any business. Nobody wants to do that, and we've given them, and as Council Blair said, no second chances. I mean, this is like chance 5, as far as I'm concerned. And and they came here, they were upset. This is their livelihood, and I get it when people say that this is their livelihood. So if it is, treat it like it is. Play by the rules and treat it like it's your livelihood. They're at the furthest point away in town. They're like right on the line. So we're not all up there all the time. And they run the streets up there. I can't say that, because I went down after we had the discussion, and sure enough, they're parked up on the sidewalk and, in the street and everything. I don't know when that was. It was probably 2 weeks ago. But I suspect that this will not be our last conversation about State Line. And a clarifying question. So they no longer have the cage where they have storage. Is that right? They don't have that area anymore?
To respond to that, they have another cage similar to it, also off of Westminster. The one that they had, the larger of the two, is vacant, and they don't own that.
So, where is it? Why can't I find it, for God's sakes? How many numbers? All right, Attleboro, 42.
That's on site, right where their building is.
All right, so they no longer have storage. Would that be accurate?
They do have storage, and
Why isn't it on the application? They used to have application for display, customer, and storage.
yeah, and I don't know why it's not on the application. I can answer that.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Reynolds.
So I'm kind of in the same boat as Peter is. I mean, we've given them multiple chances, I think we, in many ways. And as far as being down there, we're down there. We live down there, so we see it a lot. They're always in the street. They're always on the sidewalk. They do no longer have the storage that they've had for years. I don't know what this new one is that you're speaking about, but they no longer have anything that I'm aware of in that vicinity. My thought would be that they need to know that if this is not followed, if they're on the road at any time, I mean immediately if they're on that road, if you see it, I see it, you go down there and see it, we rescind their license. I mean, enough is enough. How many times do you give them an opportunity to do the right thing? Everybody else has to do the right things. We have given people chances, but they have had a multitude of them. They've been there a long time. They know the rules, and yet they still try to thwart them. So I think that we just rescind if they start parking on the sidewalk again, or actually fine them and make it a fine that is nasty to pay, that you don't want to have to deal with on a daily basis, a fine that really is severe. That's my comments. Thank you.
Councilor Blair.
Sarah hit on some of it, but I think it should, if you're gonna grant them a license, Ty, you ought to write some conditions in there. and have them agree to the conditions. They don't want to agree to the conditions, they don't get a license. So if it was me, I would look to have the second pulled on that and get that in order before you bring it out.
Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. We already have a policy that they need to follow, so conditions is just an additional, like, how much work do we have to do to get them to do what they need to be doing already? And I guess my question is that if we do not approve their license, what would the process then be? That their business would just be shut down at that point? They would not be allowed to?
Sell automobiles as of the first, if you don't have that license on the wall, you're not eligible to sell vehicles.
Okay,
As of January 1st, I would guess.
thank you.
Any additional questions or comments on this? Seeing none, I'd like to give up the chair. Vice President Kovas, thank you.
President Delicio?
Thank you. So, a few things I heard. So, I'm very glad to hear that when you went down, they're operating within the parameters of the ordinance and their license. All it took was this honorable body to hold them accountable via several meetings and an article in the newspaper. To me, you don't have the time to be babysitting in a business. 5 times, at least, they've been down here. 5 times! I'm going to ask for a roll call vote, and I'm voting against this business because we need to protect the consumer out there. We need to make sure that we're protecting people who need a vehicle in this day and age to get around for work, for medical appointments, to get groceries, to make sure that we don't have any sort of these practices that we've all heard with this business. Council Blair, I know we've done it in the past, and, I really agree with Council Holmes. The conditions are the ordinance and what's in the license, and they need to follow it. Too often, we have these businesses coming in front of us. Now, 100% Auto, what a great story. Cautiously optimistic that that's going to continue going forward. But as far as this business, how many reviews did you see? At least 10?
At least 5 out of the 9 were negative.
We're negative. I don't know how many more chances we give. So we need to vote our conscience here. My conscience is telling me we need to protect the consumer. Thank you. Additional questions or comments? Council Reynolds.
So I'm just going to add, obviously, we want to support the consumer, but for me right now, I'm also supporting the neighbors and the other people that have businesses there that are afraid to confront them when they're parking on the street or using a lot that they actually pay for, the business pays for, and they're parking their cars there or blocking the way. So for that reason, I have no problem really, because we've done this so many times, saying no as well to them having their license at this time anyway. I don't really know how would we go about, so my question then to you, Ty, if this were to be voted down, what's the next step for them, period? Do they come back? Are they done? Is it over? Is that what we're talking?
I'm going to recognize Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
You would have to give a reason why you're not supporting this. So you'd probably have to have something in writing from the city solicitor.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Why don't we pull a second
That's a good idea.
and look into it so we dot the i's and cross the t's?
I agree.
Okay.
I'm happy to pull my second. I can wait for more discussion first, if there's more discussion.
I think that if you withdraw the second, we'll find out what we want to say. I think at this point, to Madam Clerk's point, we want to make sure that we've got everything else buttoned up. I think we've voiced our opinion. We need to see what our opinion will do. So I will accept your second as being withdrawn, and Council Waterman will move on. Thank you.
May I say,
No.
No, we've moved on.
we've moved on.
Thank you.
Okay. From the docket of November 21st, 2023, I would move to approve the following 2 Class 2 license renewals Automazed Inc. of 826 Washington Street with 13 customer and 80 display spaces. Blasius Auto Group, DBA Blasius of Attleboro, 800 Washington Street with 6 customer and 124 display spaces.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
Yes, I was part of a meeting with with City Clerk Jackson and with our city solicitor 2 weeks ago, I think. And we were looking into MGL law. Our solicitor definitely was, because Blasius Auto Group is parking, they are within the limits of the 124 display spaces and the 6 customer spaces on their lot. But there's a side street there, and then on the next lot, on the other side of the side street, Automazed is leasing out their lot, which only has 2 vehicles that belong to them on it, to Blasius. So the question was, is this legal or not in the eyes of the city solicitor? And MGL law, he determined, allows for this. So based upon his interpretation, I am willing to support this.
Councilor Reynolds.
So I want to add to that, so there's no confusion, is that they are not selling from that lot, that the additional overflow of the vehicles is really only storage. It's absolutely only storage. They're renting space from a private owner that owns a commercial property, and that's what they're doing. They're putting their overflow vehicles over there. They only sell on their property that they have the permit for, just to be clear.
Councilor Dolan, thank you.
So I would like to add to that, so I can continue to beat this dead horse, is my only, I had no issue with any of it. My only issue is, in my head, which I could be completely wrong, I feel that Blasius should have 124 on their lot, and on their license should say 50 storage, or whatever the case may be. So since they're not auto-mazed vehicles, I thought Blasius legally, totally legally, leasing the space, no problems, they're in compliance. I just feel that it should be on their license that these are their vehicles. That was my issue before, and I still feel that it should be accounted for in that way. And that's all.
Thank you. Councilor Blair.
Any shot in getting them to adjust their license application to list this place as a storage only on their license?
May I?
We'll recognize the keeper of the records, Madam Clerk.
So, because this is in Mass General Laws, that it does say that if you have your Class 2 license and you are leasing out the land, then to somebody else, and somebody's paying a fee to them, that by law, they're allowed to do that. So we have a copy of the lease when I said I get them both confused.
I was just going to say, I do too.
Yeah, so, but
Well,
anyways, we have a copy of the lease that says how many cars are on that lot. They have to submit that with their license, when they apply for their license. So it's already legal. It's-
Already there.
Yeah, it's there.
So is it fair, Madam Clerk, to say that this is one of those situations where Mass General Law intersects with our city ordinance relating to the license?
Older Mass General Laws, just like a lot of them.
Correct.
And our ordinances are old.
Correct.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And that ends our business, so the License Committee will meet at the next appropriate time. Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Dolan.
Thank you. Reporting for Public Works Committee from the docket of November 5th, 2023. I entertain a motion to appropriate $23,735.61 from account wastewater enterprise fund retained earnings to account water Wastewater Enterprise Fund Blue Care Elect to fund a change in insurance coverage.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Discussed in committee.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to appropriate $17,220 from account wastewater enterprise fund retained earnings to account wastewater enterprise fund lights and power to replace internal funds used to enter a rate study contract.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any questions or comments, rather?
Discussed in committee now.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Vice President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to accept $2,387,972.13 balance of the city's Bristol County ARPA allocation in the form of a grant pursuant to the terms and conditions and the grant agreement for the Lindsay Street water main replacement, engineering, construction, and road restoration services between the city and the Bristol County ARPA program.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
We discussed this in committee as well.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman? Ms.
Yes.
Dolan?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I entertain a motion to authorize the reallocation of any unused funds from the wastewater equipment project to be put toward the Lindsay Street water main project pursuant to the terms and conditions and the grant application for the Lindsay Street water main project, engineering, construction, and road restoration services.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
This is the same as above. This is just to reallocate funds, so we do not lose the ARPA funds.
Thank you. We'll have additional questions or comments. Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And that's all the business for the Public Works Committee, and we look forward to a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Conti is delayed, so we suspended the rules. We'll wait until the end for him to arrive. If he doesn't, I'll have you, Vice President Cobus, run the meeting. Councilor Dolan, do you want to call for a committee meeting for traffic and transportation, please?
Traffic and transportation is canceled this evening, and we call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Vice President Cobus.
IT and infrastructure does not have any business tonight. We call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. Reporting for zoning and land use this evening. Part of us going for that recess is, I had to also print out something, so I appreciate everyone's patience for that this evening. From the docket of November 21st, 2023, I move to approve an additional special act that relates to the October 17th, 2023 vote number 9, accepting 66 public ways in the city of Attleboro.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order before, we will not have this in our packet as we needed to print it up just now. Councilor Holmes.
Thank you. So about a month ago, this was voted out of committee. This is just a vote that we had taken on October 17th, accepting the streets. So this is just asking for the special act, going to the state, basically.
It's for the 66, correct?
Yes, 66 public ways.
And this is just the housekeeping piece to get it to the finish line.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of January 4th, 2022, I move to accept the planning board's November 7th, 2023 proposed amendments to the zoning ordinance, specifically section 17-3.5 table of accessory use of Regulations, Section 17-4.5 accessory structures, and Section 17-11.2 definitions of zoning ordinance.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
We have been working on this for quite some time. We've had 3 public hearings, and it's time to just have the vote. We've made a few changes in committee, which had to do mostly with changing the name. And I just really hope the council supports this.
Council Blair.
I just want to appreciate your work on the whole thing, but there was a question brought up last week about septic systems fitting in, and we did get a ruling. I believe you
Yes.
got that taken care of. It was quite self-explanatory. I was glad to read that before we went ahead and approved this, that the health department or the building inspector, they check with the health department, and they in turn check to make sure there's enough capacity of these septic systems to accept this accessory dwelling unit. So I was glad to hear that, because it could have been a can of worms.
Absolutely. Council Holmes.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. So an email was sent out. Any additional bedrooms, they would check private systems to make sure that they can meet capacity. So I think it's already kind of built in for that to happen. Those are my comments.
Additional questions or concerns? Council Holmes, I share Councilor Blair's sentiments. It's nice to see this. As you can see, it's been almost a year since it was introduced. A lot of work, and I appreciate the hard work that you put in to get this to the finish line, so thank you. If there's nothing else, we'll have roll call vote. Begin with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett? Oh, excuse me. Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
You forgot me.
Yeah, she skipped you.
I skipped you?
Yeah. That's okay.
How did I dare do that?
Jump to Bennett.
It's just one of those nights.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Now motion officially passes.
That concludes the business for zoning and land uses. This evening, I'll call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds.
Thank you. Reporting for City Property and Claims Committee from the docket of December 5th, 2023. I move to accept the generous donation of 7,000 linear feet of outdoor string lights and associated parts with an estimated value of $6,500 from TDI Partnership and Downtown Attleboro Business Associations.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Blair. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, and it's really well appreciated.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to declare the following Veterans Office furniture as surplus and available for disposition. It's a one-desk chair in good condition.
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Cobus. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, I have none.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to accept the donation of the following 5 hardcover books from the Rachel Brannigan Educational Foundation to the Hill Roberts Elementary School.
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Cobus. Motion is in order. Any comments?
I have none.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to accept the following list of furniture donated to the city from Hill Roberts PTO with an estimated value of $5,905, and the inventory
the
list
reading.
is
You read
going
it in
I was going to say I read it in committee, yes, thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. Motion is in order. Any comments?
I have none.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this requires a voice vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to accept the generous donation to the Attleboro Police Department of gift cards totaling $240 from the Attleboro Moose Lodge.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Blair. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, I have none.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, this requires a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And that is all the business City Property and Claims Committee has this evening, and I would like to call a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Councilor Councilor Waterman to fill in for Councilor Angelo, who's away on business.
All right, reporting from the Personnel, Veterans, and Human Services Committee from the docket of December 5th, 2023. We have one motion. I move to appoint Brenda Young as the acting zoo director under a temporary 90-day appointment in accordance with Section 3.3B of the Attleboro Home Rule Charter.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments, Councilor?
I think there was strong support within the committee for this appointment, and I recommend it.
And I just believe this is it's an extension of the 90-day to get the new director of the zoo all situated here.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Oh, the Personnel, Veterans, Human Services Committee will meet at the next appropriate time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for filling in. Councilor Tavares.
Thank you, President Delicio. Reporting for ordinances, elections, and legislative matters. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to transfer $2,901.49 from account 1124100-578300 Citywide Reserve Fund for transfer to account 1124100-558330 Citywide Copiers to purchase a copier for the Elections Office.
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Cobus. Motion is in order. Any comments, Councilor?
No comments. We discussed this in committee.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
From the docket of November 21st, 2023, I move to call for a public hearing on January 16, 2024, regarding the amendment to Section 12-3.3P of the revised ordinances and delete in its entirety and replace with the word reserved so as to avoid the need for the city to renumber other provisions and adjust associated internal cross-references.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Blair. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No comments.
It's just for the public hearing. This requires a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That concludes the business of ordinances, elections, and legislative matters. I call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Blair.
Thank you. I'd like to call Public Safety and Emergency Management to order. I have two motions that are related. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to transfer $150,000 from account 1210000-530172 Police Substance Abuse Disorder Prevention to account 1124100-596650 citywide transfer to opioid stabilization fund, and to further transfer $150,000 from account 1124100-596650 citywide transfer to an opioid stabilization fund to fund 8508-499600 opioid settlement fund transfer from general fund to be used in accordance with the City of Attleboro's opioid settlement fund plan.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's in order. Any comments?
No. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We're just trying to put the money where it belongs, and it'll be protected to be used for the right use.
Correct. It's a follow-up to business that came in several months ago.
Yeah.
Thank you. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to transfer $263,753 from account number 1000-321350, the general fund opioid reserve account, to fund 8508 opioid settlement fund. These funds will be subject to further appropriation by the municipal council in the future years, consistent with the City of Attleboro opioid settlement fund plan.
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Cobus. Motion is in order. Any comments?
No, I'm happy to see it comes down to this council approving where it goes. It's just not put out there for somebody to spend.
Very good, thank you. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes,
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
thank you very much. I have no other business this evening, but I would request a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. We will now recognize Vice President Cobus.
All right, reporting for the Finance Committee. Let's see. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to appropriate $376,914.29 from account undesignated fund balance, free cash, general government to account school appropriations, Medicaid to fund the municipal revenue sharing agreement.
Second.
Thank you, motion is in order. Any comments?
This is something we do every year.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
Yes,
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to authorize the school department to pay the following previous year's school bills totaling $759.74 that were not received in time to be processed in fiscal year '23.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Previous year's bills that we need to pay.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yeah,
Mr.
yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
yes,
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to authorize the school department to pay the following previous year's school bill totaling $417.44, which was not received in time for fiscal year '23 business cycle.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Reynolds. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Another previous year bill, this one's for Verizon.
Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair?
yes,
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to designate the mayor and the Board of Assessors collectively as the authorized officer vested with the authority to negotiate payment in lieu of taxes, pilot agreements, and after municipal council approval of any respective pilot agreement that has been so negotiated, to execute said pilot agreements on behalf of the City of Attleboro.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Holmes. Motion is in order. Any comments?
I have.
We had a long discussion about this in committee last week. And I was supportive of this, and I continue to be supportive of this.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Reynolds.
I just wanted to say that I thought Councilor Conti made a lot of great points in regards to the pilot programs and making sure that the Board of Assessors collectively actually get in on this. Both of us have constantly over the years said how much we hate pilot programs or agreements, the payment in lieu of taxes actually. So I'm comfortable that we're doing it this way and that it will be helpful.
Great, thank you. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman? Ms.
Yes.
Dolan?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
yes,
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
All right. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to appropriate $2 million from account general fund balance undesignated to account citywide contribution to stabilization fund to bolster the stabilization fund.
Second.
Thank you, Council Holmes. Motion is in order. Any comments?
Moving $2 million to the stabilization fund, I think this is a great thing. So, great.
Councilor Blair.
I echo those thoughts, Todd. Fill that fund up. There will be a rainy day, we're gonna need it.
Just came out of 4 years of a rainy day.
Yeah, so it's the right place to put it.
Agreed. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Mr. Tavares.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Vice President Cobus.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
President Delicio.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you. From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to appropriate $261,000 from account general fund fund balance to account citywide contribution special education stabilization fund.
Second.
Thank you, Council Holmes. Motion is in order. Any comments?
This is putting $261,000 into the special education stabilization fund for things like transportation and whatnot. And we just saw in the communication tonight that we're expecting that transportation cost to increase this year. So I encourage everybody to support that.
Thank you. Additional questions or comments? Councilor
Support
Blair.
this.
I would hope when they come back to us with a figure that we go to this account. That's what it's put there for. We go to that account. Don't take any more out of the general fund to support that. You set up this account, and it looks like we're gonna have to use some money. I won't be here probably, but I would hope that this council would make sure it's taken from that fund.
Thank you. Additional questions or comments? Just my own 2 cents. I think this is extremely important. As I've said a million times on the floor, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So anytime we can build up the reserves on this and any of the upcoming accounts, I think it's good fiscal planning. That being said, we'll have a roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Vice President Cobus.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Mr. Tavares.
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
President Delicio.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes.
And finally, from the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move to appropriate $388,609.27 of fiscal 2023 net school spending surplus as follows.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any comments?
It's paying lights and power and school maintenance of buildings, so it's needed.
Cost of doing business. Additional questions or concerns? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote, beginning with Councilor Blair.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Mr. Tavares.
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds.
Yes.
Ms. Holmes.
Yes.
Vice President Cobus.
Yes.
Ms. Dolan.
Yes.
Mr. Waterman.
Yes.
President Delicio.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. I believe Vice President Cobus has one more motion on the other page.
And where is that?
Right there.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No worries.
From the docket of December 5th, 2023, I move that in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40, Section 5B, the City Established Fund 8509 Special Purpose Capital Stabilization Fund, funds shall be expended for the non-enterprise projects identified in the city's capital improvement plan or non-enterprise projects that meet the definition of a capital project requiring an appropriation of no less than $50,000 with a life expectancy of at least 3 years.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is in order. Any questions?
How could I miss such an important thing? This is establishing the fund for the capital improvement projects. This is something that the finance chair, Councilor Conti, has championed for so many years, and it's finally here. And so I very much encourage everyone to support. And this is very much Councilor Conti's thing that he's really championed for years and years. And so it's great that this is finally moving forward. So
Agreed. Council Holmes.
Thank you. I was going to say something very similar. I just think Council Conti has really just come to the forefront with a lot of these things that he is hoping for the city to move forward with. And he's ending on a great note with that, and so I really appreciate the work he's done.
If anyone deserves it, it's him. Councilor Waterman, then Councilor Reynolds.
Well, having served on the Capital Improvements Committee in the past, this is a terrific move. This will help save buildings and keep them up to date and keep them safe in a way that probably we've not been able to do in the past.
Councilor Reynolds.
I was just making it funny. He practically jumped out of his seat with excitement last week, so I mean, and did a little tap dance in the center here. So for all of his excitement and how hard he worked on this over the years, I'm glad it's finally happening.
I think the cameras were off by the time he was tap dance, but
He was so excited. Yeah.
Vice President Cobus.
I would just like to also add that this is something that, as the finance chair, President Colisio, previously, you were also advocating for this, and this was something that was in the budget message that we had sent out previously. It is something that we've been asking for a while.
Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll have roll call vote. Begin with Councilor Waterman.
Mr. Waterman?
Yes.
Ms. Dolan?
Yes.
Vice President Cobus?
Yes.
Ms. Holmes?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Tavares?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
President Delicio?
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion passes. I will be calling, I'm sorry, Vice President Cobus.
That concludes the business for the finance committee. I call for a committee meeting at the next appropriate time.
Thank you. Where we've suspended the rules, I'll call for committee meetings next week at the appropriate time for the Special Committee on Tax Abatement, Special Committee on Classification and Compensation. We have no old business, we have no new business, but before
Before we adjourn, can I say one thing about the Dan McCurney dinner?
Yep, just give me
that
one
all
quick
right?
second, and then,
Okay.
yeah, of course.
I just wanted to get your attention.
Please.
before
Yeah,
we
no, I
adjourn.
appreciate
Thanks.
that. Just a quick reminder that we are meeting twice next week. Monday, we have a joint meeting with the school committee, which is something that I'd like to see more of going forward, especially where, you know, such a large part of the municipal budget is dedicated to the schools. I think that communication and partnership is vital to moving the city forward. Councilor Blair.
I make a suggestion, Jay, and maybe you've already thought of it, that the new councilors coming on are invited to that meeting, or made aware of it at least.
Great
Because
suggestion.
I think it would be more helpful to them
Yep,
and Mr. Tavares also
yep.
than any of the rest of us that have sat on this council and been involved with the school's budget.
Yep, that's certainly part of the plan for the new councilors as well as the new school committee members.
Yeah.
And probably will be part of the, hopefully whoever's president will have the orientation as well. So good suggestion. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure you thought of it, but I just wanted
That's
to
okay.
make sure.
It's all good.
Because I think I know it would make a big difference if I was an oncoming counselor to be brought in at this particular time in that area.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Always looking out for me, Peter.
I try. It's been tough.
Can't be easy. No small task.
It works both ways.
All right. And Councilor Dolan, perfect note to end it on.
Thank you. So this is just a reminder, everybody here knows that Dan and Linda McCurney put on a Christmas dinner for anybody, veterans, disabled, homeless, or anybody that needs a hot meal. They work really hard on this every year, and it is Saturday, December 16th from 11 to 1 at St. John's. So if you want to come down and just say hello, or if you need a hot meal, please come down. We'll all be there working and serving everybody that needs a hot meal.
Yep. You and I-
December 16th.
You and I have been working this for a long time together with
Since the
Dan and
beginning.
Linda. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, Dan will start cooking, I think, probably Wednesday night at 2 a.m. He'll probably do about 28 turkey. There'll be chicken, everything else,
Ham.
but ham, all of it. And just the amount of support he gets from the community it's amazing. The other thing, while we're doing this, this upcoming Saturday from, I gotta remember the time, I believe it's 10 to 1 at the VFW on Park Street. The Attleboro Police Association will be hosting a drive-through food drive. So a lot going on this time of year
At the VFW on Park
on
Street.
Park Street, yep. That being said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:14.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We adjourned at 8:14. Good work.